Hey, sorry for the bad quality on the video. I can't get enough lighting in here, so this is as good as it will get. This video is about cognitive dissonance and how that operates and what actually goes on in your brain when you experience this. Cognitive dissonance is when you have a mental conflict. It's when you're holding two ideas or two attitudes at the same time, but they're conflicting. So one pulls in that direction and the other one pulls in that direction. So you get this psychological tension, which is very exhausting. So your nature will be to soothe that dissonance and to make it more, uniform. Can I say that? Because you want it all to go in one direction. So when we live in the world and we interact in the world and with ourselves, we give ourselves explanations about how things work. And if we have an established explanation that we understand, it's called schemas, I think, schema. We have understandings and concepts of the world. So you will have one schema for example, love and relationships, and one for mothers and one for animals. So your schemas will obviously be hallmarked by where you have been and what you have experienced. So if you have a very loving relationship with your mother, your schema of mothers will be trust, love, feeling safe, feeling vulnerable, opening up, telling secrets, or whatever you have. But if you have a mother that's not so kind, you will have a different, association, in association with motherhood. So it's just we need these explanations so we can understand the world. So we have, thousands of associations to everything that we relate to, and they can be pretty established. So if you have a very established association regarding your own self-worth or how love should be or whatever, and something comes along and introduces an opposite idea or something that is incongruent with that, you will have this tension and conflict because this confusion will occur. Your world will be mismatched with what is presented. Your inner map of reality will, not make sense. So the brain will come up with explanations. So often it's the idea or attitude that you had the longest that will win. And I can give an example of this. Me and my daughter, we were going to see this movie that I thought was this children's movie because it was a cartoon. And I was planning it because we were going to see it on Friday, and I was thinking all week, preparing for it, and when I was making plans, it had to fit in and when we could see this movie. And so in my mind, that was established. This is a children's movie. It's a cartoon, so it's good for children. And in the introduction, this is the movie called, if you have seen it, in Norwegian, it was just called Sausage Fest, which sound like, an adult movie anyways, which it kind of was. But I thought it was a children's movie because it was a cartoon. So in the introduction, they started singing, and it was a lot of curse words. So the first time I heard fuck you or fuck off or something like that, that was new information for me, which, completely crashed with my established idea that this is a children's movie, it's friendly for children. But suddenly I got some new information with a lot of cursing, and obviously that's not friendly for children. But then I told myself that, I must have heard wrong, So I minimized, the information I got through my senses. So I just explained, well, I heard it wrong, or maybe they were singing something else and I just misunderstood. So that's cognitive dissonance. That's what you do. You explain something that's irrational or doesn't make sense, but you kind of sway it that way, or manipulate it or lie to yourself or deny something to yourself to make it make sense, so it will follow and make sense with your established attitude or your established sense of reality, so things will make sense. And this is where you can transfer it into love bombing and the narcissist. So if the narcissist has started love bombing you and they have spent some weeks wooing you and being this amazing person and extremely loving, nurturing, children friendly, dog friendly, and whatever they have, they have just mirrored you. They have just, if you love, charity and philanthropy, can I say that? Well, I just did. So, um, then they will do that too. They will love everything you did. So they're just mirroring you. So you're ironically falling in love with yourself, which kind of is ironically when it's, talk about narcissism here. But that's why you feel like you found your soulmate, because literally you're looking at the mirror of yourself. So in this love bombing phase, when they are just mirroring everything you love, everything you think is important, all your values, your core values, your ideas, and everything about life, they just mirror it. So you have this established bond and you have this perception of this person as being extremely loving, caring, good-willed, or whatever. You've seen it, you've experienced it. This becomes very established within you, this understanding and your scheme of this person, or schema, don't know how to say it. So your schema of this person is just that this is wholesome person. This is a very nice person. So the first time you see a red flag, what do? You have this cognitive dissonance. Your established sense and your established, understanding of this person is that they're very kind and they're nice. But suddenly you get information that's incongruent with that. So if you draw parallels to me watching that movie, suddenly I hear a lot of curse words in the song. Well, that doesn't make sense because I knew that this was a children's movie. So the new information didn't make sense. So I had to manipulate it in order for it to fit, fit my understanding, my inner world. And that's what you do with a narcissist when the love bombing has established, your understanding of that person. And the first time you see narcissistic rage, or the first time you see them being rude or doing other things, I'm trying to come up with things, but I can give an example. Maybe the first time you see them becoming extremely angry for something very minor or something that just didn't make sense, like you're so shocked. You didn't understand how the conversation could just go 180 and they could, suddenly be so angry. Your first intent won't be like, oh my gosh, this person is so ridiculous. I'm putting a line, I'm drawing the line here. This is not okay. Because you understand that this is a nice person. You know that this person is very nice because you've seen it and you've felt it and you have a bond. So you will start giving other explanations. And you might just look back to your own experience, what kind of excuses you made or what kind of explanations you made for yourself to take this new information that didn't make sense and was kind of erratic behavior that you manipulated or denied or smooth over or something, so it would fit into your inner image or your inner map of your reality. So examples of that can be that you were thinking, well, they had a bad childhood, or she's upset, she had a bad day at work, or he is just, feeling down these days, or so you try to explain it, you make it okay, you trivialize it. So that's the first step, and then they get a hold of you, and then you see it again. But maybe, it's, have gone some time since the first time, and you see it again, and you will do the same thing. And that's why narcissistic abuse is so subtle and it's so difficult to get a grasp on, because they will flip-flop often between being very kind and between showing who they really are. So you will get confused because you've seen they're nice, and suddenly you experience the abuse, which that's what it is. It's abuse. So, and then later they will be, they won't be nice. I will never say that they are nice, but they will do nice actions. A lot of nice things are have been done throughout the ages by very bad people. It's manipulation. So, you can do right things for the wrong reasons. So that's what makes it very hard and very difficult to see them for what they are, because you have this cognitive dissonance. So, and that's, if you take it further, if you have an understanding of yourself from your childhood as being very unlovable and horrible and a burden, and you might suffer from suicidal ideations and emotional flashbacks. So when narcissistic abuse starts, this is where they really get a hook of you, their hook in you, because when they start here, they're starting off on your turf where you feel very vulnerable, and these are your inner beliefs. So your inner child will be this vulnerable person that deep down you don't believe that you deserve love. Deep down you don't believe that you are worthy of someone so amazing as they have portrayed themselves falsely, but nonetheless they have portrayed themselves as very, great persons. So you deep down don't feel that you are worthy of this person because of your scamas, your shamana. So they are so established within you, and they have been there for a very, very long time. So when they start love bombing you, firstly, that way you will feel this incongruence, because your established belief is that you don't deserve love. So when someone introduces love and introduces the idea that you are so worthy of love, it might make you very insecure. It might even make your suicidal ideations even worse. It will stir up everything inside of you and all of your insecurities. And, a narcissist will sense that. They're like sharks that can smell the drop of blood from miles away. They will see this inner tension that you have, the insecurities that you have, the humbleness and the, how you react to all of these compliments and love bombing. They will sense that you don't accept it like you're entitled to, because of course you're entitled to love, but you might not know that you are. So they will sense that. And that's the cognitive dissonance the other way, that you're deep down and you're very established in believing that you don't deserve love, you're unlovable. So then you will notice the cognitive incongruence, that when they show you love, it doesn't have to be a narcissist, it can be anybody, it can be a nice person that shows you love, and you might reject them. And because they defy your established beliefs. So when a good guy or a good girl comes in and showers you with love and they give you everything you want and they are so kind to you, you reject them because it doesn't make sense according to your cognitive dissonance. Your established belief is that you don't deserve this. So it's so uncomfortable to deal with that, dissonance when someone says, well, you are. So, but you have been experiencing and that you are not worthy of love, and you have experienced this since you were very small. So this will be very strange. This idea is very far-fetched and strange and uncomfortable even, maybe, for you. So you reject them. And then you get a narcissist, a bad guy or a bad person that comes in and gives you a little bit love, but also a lot of abuse. And then you feel, oh, well, this makes sense. This I'm worthy of. And then you can remember that dynamic, and you can remember this relationship that, oh, I have to strive for love. I am not worthy of love. I have to be punished. That's true. I can recognize that as well. I am a bad person. I can recognize that as well. So that's your niche. The narcissist finds your niche and you're comfortable there On this intellectual level, of course, you're not comfortable there. But maybe also intellectually, you're very verbally abusive towards yourself. But maybe also you are intellectually grown up, so you know that your childhood was wrong. You don't want to live like that. That's not right. But your inner child is not matured, so your inner child deep down, doesn't love herself or himself. But your intellect, you want love, you want to be loved, but then you constantly go find people that reject you or are not capable of giving you love. It's because your intellect and your emotional self have two different ideas about what you deserve. So the intellect will always come first in maturing when you work as an adult to heal your childhood wounds and your malfunctioning or your default mode that is basically you don't deserve love. That's what your parents handed down to you. So when you reparent yourself as an adult and you start working on these wiring on your brain that's not good, that's where you're going to mature first intellectually. But the emotional self, it's it takes longer time, and it just takes a while. It comes lagging behind, and it's more difficult to convince the inner child that you are worthy. And the inner child in pain, you will notice that in the emotional flashbacks that you easily get triggered and such. So, but this is a journey and it's a process, and you have to work, and there are 1,000 things that you can do to reparent yourself. But I just want to make a video about that, the cognitive dissonance, and how it can make you actually reject somebody that gives you love, and how you can deep down feel comfortable when you're with someone that abuses you, because that seems legit. You can recognize that. That's a niche where you ironically feel a little bit comfortable, even though it hurts. And yes, that's why also in the beginning of a relationship with a narcissist that we minimize their behavior and make explanations for it. Yes, so that was just a video about that. And thank you for your time, and have a nice evening. Bye.